The attacks on Hindu community continue unabated in the United Kingdom, spreading from Leicester to Birmingham. First, the attack on a Hindu temple and establishment over the weekend stirred outrage in UK and in India. Now, Times Now has accessed visuals of how a temple in Birmingham was surrounded yesterday by a mob of 300 plus people chanting Allahu Akbar. They made obscene gestures at the temple goers inside and by some accounts also threw fireworks and bottles at them.
So they've come and they've started chanting slogans, Allahu Akbar and Nare Takbir, I don't know, these kind of, some slogans I don't understand. Basically being very threatening, very intimidating, trying to climb the gates of the temple, trying to get in, throwing bricks, throwing firecrackers, throwing bottles. In the end, we had to tell the women and the children to go inside the temple for their own protection and own security. While us youngsters, along with the police, are trying to control the situation outside.
You can understand how family behaves, and they are really worried about the safety. They were targeting that temple yesterday to send out, or I would use the word terrorize us, really. But police were able to control and disperse them. We were standing our ground without showing any provocation from our side, though a few members were really willing to go out there and talk to them.
Attacking in this instance, it's Hindus only, so it's Hinduphobia, it seems like. You can see an individual climbing the wall of the temple, holding by the rails and showing two fingers to the devotees. Very offensive. So it's a huge issue. And it's happened, as you know.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us now is Pandit Satish K. Sharma, who is a Dharmic scholar and former General Secretary of the National Council of Hindu Temples. Suresh Rajpura, eyewitness and spokesperson of the Durga Bhawan Temple. Tausif-ur-Rahman will be joining us in just a bit. Ahmad Ayaz is there with us, as is Advocate Ehtesham Hashmi, political analyst. Advocate Hashmi, earlier it was said that people who said Jai Shri Ram provoked an attack on themselves. Now, who provoked this attack on a temple where people surrounded it, shouting Allahu Akbar and threw bottles at them? Mr. Hashmi, can you hear me? All right, Mr. Ayaz, if you can take that question.
See, it's not that those who chanted Allahu Akbar or having worn the dress of Muslims could be Muslims. So this needs to be properly inquired as to what has happened. To call it they were Muslims, I think it will be not fair at this stage, because we have seen in the past also at many places in India itself, there were Muslims wearing the dress of Hindus and going to the Hindus' ideas back in there. Same was the Hindus.
Okay, we'll just try and fix your audio because there's obviously a problem that we are facing right now. Let me actually go across to Suresh Rajpura. So, was there any provocation from your side for this attack?
Hello, namaskar, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your question, ma'am?
Was there any provocation from your side? Because over the last few days, we've seen in the case of Leicester, it was said that there was an attack on the Muslim establishment.
So far as Birmingham Temple is concerned, Temple, because I was there, so I can say authoritatively, there was absolutely no provocation from any devotee from the mandir itself or from those who were standing in the mandir compound.
Then why did this attack happen?
Well, there have been a lot of rumors on WhatsApp and other social media platforms. It was something to do with Sadhvi Ritandra Didi coming to Birmingham, and she is branded as a Hinduphobia or anti-Muslim person. That was absolutely nonsense, because I have been going to the mandir regularly to listen to her as well as other visiting dignitaries and saints, and nobody has ever said anything anti any community, let alone just Muslim.
Then what is the explanation from the police when there was already a call given earlier that 30th of September people will be coming to the temple? Why wasn't the mob stopped much earlier?
Well, I think police couldn't have anticipated such a large number of people suddenly springing up in such a short time. And nobody can really predict. There was no ringleader you can pinpoint or say that what's happening or stop this happening. And everybody was taken by surprise. But police did reasonably a commendable job. They could have done better, like everyone else, everything else. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And that's why some of the mob people are actually, as you can see, climbed up the railing. And that was a very, very terrorizing experience for the devotees inside. And inside the temple and in the compound, there were some mothers with young children, and many were very elderly. Most of the temples are normally visited by the elderly people, not very young people. So we can safely say that most of the attendees were very elderly.
So Pandit Sharma, how really do you read what has happened in Birmingham, earlier Leicester? Is there a pattern to it?
This is not complicated. There are a lot of noises, a lot of explanations and allegations, but the fact remains is that what we have witnessed are crimes. This is a criminal act. Under Section 24 of the Public Order Act, what has been done is criminal. It has been done on the basis of religious identity, which makes it a hate crime. And so the police have an obligation to, one, ensure that their citizens in this country can go about their lawful business without fear, without threats, without intimidation. The police, sadly, have failed in that duty. You know, there was a Muhammad Khan who approached Her Majesty's coffin lying there, and immediately the police jumped in and used exactly this particular piece of legislation to arrest him in a public disorder offence. So the police have an obligation to make sure this doesn't happen. They didn't intervene. We saw in Leicester also the flag being burned. We saw the mandir being attacked, and the police didn't intervene. Now, we can be accommodating and say, well, these were surprises. And okay, on the day of the funeral, that's completely understandable, and we acknowledge that. But there was more than enough intelligence to indicate that this was going to happen in Smethwick, that this was going to happen this evening. We're anticipating it happening in Nottingham. There could not be any clearer explanation except these are religiously motivated attacks on the Hindu community. We are being dehumanized, we are being deprived of our freedoms, and the reason, the one consistent factor is religious identity.
But why is this happening all of a sudden? Because even the statement, that all faith statement that was released says that these are largely people who do not belong to Leicester or to Birmingham. They are being brought from the outside. They are mostly gangs hungry for control and for power. It's more about street fights than about religion. How would you respond to that, Pandit Sharma?
I think it's utter nonsense. You know, when the perpetrator of a crime declares their identity and declares their motive and then proceeds to act in criminal action, it's stupidity to say, well, actually, no, it could be something else. What else do we need? This is a self-confessed religious crime, and that we do not need to have anybody doing psychological analyses as to what it could be. I'm simply pointing out that there is criminal activity, the police have an obligation to prevent it, and if they don't prevent it, they have an obligation to arrest the individuals. It's terrible that we have elderly members of our community being held hostage in religious institutions by another religious community. This is an unbelievable development, and I never thought I'd see it here in the United Kingdom. Hindus have been deprived of their freedoms by a very hostile group of aggressive militants.
Mr. Rajpura, what do you make of people commenting that this is a offense from both sides? It's a reaction to an action, and that these are largely people who are of Pakistani origin, so it could be more of an India-Pakistan thing rather than an identity-related crime.
Well, this is a cocktail, isn't it? Combination of everything. This is just not the one thing. It's very difficult to say they were Indian or Pakistanis. What we can say with certainty, they were Muslim because they were chanting Allahu Akbar. And police and other press people were recording the event as well. Now, have you seen one single video where they were recording inside the temple complex, where Hindus were abusive or inciting violence or saying anything derogatory. Every single video is focused outside. Although recording was done of inside as well, but not a single video has come out to show what was happening in the mandir was undesirable or provocative.
So you fear that there could be more such attacks? And if yes, then why? Why are you being singled out?
Well, India, Pakistan does play a role, there is absolutely no doubt. Then the religious, so it's a very dangerous cocktail. Now, with regard to, I was on another TV channel literally a few minutes ago, and I was talking to somebody in Leicester. Now, Leicester, they say it was because of India-Pakistan cricket match. There was nothing of that kind in Birmingham at all. So why suddenly it erupted in Birmingham? Right? Now then there is a question of, Hindus are 7.3% in Muslims and so are Hindus as well. So it's equal fight. It's not a fight equal because Hinduism preaches non-violence. Most of the Hindus are vegetarian. So to pick up the arms or even to kill somebody, even a fly, it's not in their gene. It's not in their makeup. We are not even supposed to say katu vachan, where it might hurt somebody, let alone actually physically hurt someone. So it's very one-sided thing to, it's easy to say that they both are responsible, but I can't see. And all videos clearly indicate exactly, who is the aggressive person in here.
Well, extremely disingenuous attempt at least to try and put a spin on it as an action reaction or a battle for power. In the case of Leicester, there was an example given of a cricket match between India and Pakistan. The same spin doctors still haven't been able to explain this extremely disgusting, vulgar and unprovoked attack that has clearly taken place on a place of Hindu worship in Birmingham. Still waiting for that spin. In the meantime, thank you very much, Pandit Sharma and Mr. Rajpura, for speaking to us, and we hope that you stay safe. Thanks very much.